Imagine you're launching a fintech app like FinGo. Every sign-up, ID check, and bank link isn't just a form, it's a strategic identity decision. In this case study, we'll reveal that hidden machinery and see how it shapes fraud risk, compliance, and user trust. Think of identity as a pipeline that runs for the entire relationship with a user. It starts at registration. Then you decide how strongly to verify them. Each time they return, you authenticate them and allow them to update details over time. When they lose access, recovery controls who can reclaim the account. Eventually, you may need to delete or anonymize their data. Weak decisions early on, especially at verification and recovery, tend to explode later as fraud, compliance issues, or user harm. Onboarding is where a user's digital identity really begins. From a few simple inputs like name, email, phone, and device details, the system starts building a risk picture. Behind the scenes, verification checks confirm contact points, device fingerprinting links this session to a broader history, and IP scoring flags suspicious networks. Collecting more data can improve risk assessment, but it also adds friction. Your job is to decide when that extra question or check is truly worth the drop-off. Identity verification and KYC are where I say I am X becomes the system has evidence I am X. Front-end signals like ID scans, selfies, and device data flow into a KYC engine, which then calls multiple back-end services. Sanctions and PEP screening, watch lists, and credit bureaus or similar data sources. A risk-based approach means not every user is treated the same. Low-risk patterns get a lighter, faster check, while high-risk behavior triggers deeper, slower, and more expensive verification. Authentication is best viewed as a spectrum, not a single event. When everything looks normal, familiar device, usual location, small actions, the system should mostly stay out of the way, using invisible background checks to keep the session alive. If a mild anomaly appears, like a new IP address, you add a bit of friction with a step-up prompt, such as Face ID. For clearly high-risk actions, you demand the strongest challenges, like phishing-resistant multi-factor approval. The overall principle is simple. More risk, more proof. Now we move into the riskiest stretch of the identity lifecycle: updates, recovery, and deletion. Updates seem harmless, but changing an email, phone, or authenticator can hand an attacker the keys. So treat those changes almost like a fresh onboarding. Recovery is a magnet for social engineering and SIM swap attacks, which is why strong audit trails and layered checks matter. And deletion isn't just a button. It's a decision about retention rules, compliance, and honoring user consent. Identity decisions are never made in a vacuum. Picture the product at the center of four competing gravitational pulls. Customers push you toward instant sign-up, minimal friction, and strong privacy. Regulators pull in the opposite direction, demanding strict KYC, AML, and data protection. Partners want deep integration and data sharing so the ecosystem works smoothly, and the business optimizes for growth, low abandonment, and less fraud. Effective strategy is about balancing these forces, not winning any single one. Another way to see this is as a constant tug-of-war between four groups. Customers want instant access to money and hate any friction, yet they dread fraud or feeling spied on. The platform wants fast growth and smooth UX, but fears catastrophic fraud losses and fines. Third-party providers want deep integration and rich data, but worry about being cut out. Regulators actually want friction where risk is high, because their nightmare is systemic money laundering and large-scale breaches. In a traditional identity lifecycle, every step is a potential attack surface. At registration and KYC, the risk is fake or stolen documents seeding a clean but fraudulent account. During authentication, the classic problems dominate: password reuse, weak factors, and basic phishing. Later, profile updates and recovery are prime moments for manual account takeover and rogue transactions. Across all stages, overcollection of data and insecure storage create privacy and compliance failures. Notice that these are mostly linear, human-scale threats. With AI in the mix, the change isn't just smarter attacks, it's a shift from linear to exponential. A traditional attacker is constrained by time, writing clumsy phishing emails, trying logins manually, getting blocked by simple rate limits. Effort scales roughly with each victim. An AI-empowered attacker front-loads effort into tooling. Bots can open or take over accounts at scale, while language models generate perfectly tailored messages and support conversations. That turns niche fraud techniques into always-on industrialized identity attacks. Synthetic identity fraud is basically identity Lego. Attackers start with a real fragment, like a breached social security number or birth date. They attach an AI-generated face that looks unique but doesn't belong to any real person. Then they layer on an LLM-written backstory, social profiles, resumes, even chat histories. All of this becomes a polished identity package that can sail through weak KYC checks, especially when deepfake selfies and realistic documents bypass basic liveness and document verification. To make your current identity stack more resilient, think in terms of 4 tactical moves. First, risk-based onboarding. Treat a low-value, familiar user very differently from a high-value, unusual pattern, and dial verification up or down in real time. Second, strengthen authentication by phasing out passwords in favor of device-bound credentials and phishing-resistant MFA. Third, apply privacy by design, so data collection, storage, and sharing are constrained and intentional. Finally, add continuous monitoring so risk is assessed throughout each session, not just at login. The deeper shift is moving from one-time, fragile checks to a living identity ecosystem. In the old model, you run KYC once, stamp approved, and hope nothing changes. AI makes that easy to game with synthetic identities and polished backstories. The emerging model assumes attackers have strong AI, so defenses must be stronger still. Cryptographically verifiable credentials, continuous behavioral signals that recheck trust in real time, and shared threat intelligence so no organization fights alone. FinGo's identity blueprint boils down to 4 things. Treat identity as a continuous pipeline, not a login screen. Recognize that incentives quietly shape every design choice. Assume AI has permanently changed the scale, speed, and style of fraud. And finally, understand that defending against those threats requires interoperable ecosystems, not isolated silos.